Hey guys, welcome back to Not One Videos. Today I'm going to try something a little bit different. We're going to go on a field trip to see some awesome vertical D&D terrain. Look at me being a YouTube vlogger. We're up here in Holloway Road at Geek Retreat today to check out Jo Levin's insanely large piece of vertical terrain. So here we are, guys. I'm here with my friend Jo Levin from Encounter Terrain. Some of you might know Jo from Instagram. He's a terrain builder who also lives here in London, and we've been helping each other out on different projects. He's helped me out with some of my terrain, the resin pour, as you might remember. And today I'm here to check out some of Jo's awesome massive terrain, which is basically the size of a whole wall. What are you doing, Jo?
These are some of the offcuts from the past couple of days. There's 3 bags there, there's probably going to be another few bags, and just want to get the majority of this stuff cleared up before we start to paint this, just because it'll just make it easier to walk around.
You have been building D&D terrain for like maybe what, 5 years?
I would say specifically for D&D, yeah, between 5 and 6 years specifically for the game, yeah.
One of the cool things that I love about your terrain is that you're primarily focused in vertical terrain. How did you get into making vertical terrain as opposed to big boards?
Well, I had a few big boards and they were good fun to play on. And I live in London, and London is filled with really small houses. And my living room is small, and my coffee table is small, and my living room table is small, and getting 5 people around a really small table is easy. But then getting 5 people around a small table with beers and pizzas and character sheets and terrain and minis and dice and all the additional bits and pieces that you need for a game, it's just too much. And there was just no space for anything.
So we're up here at Geek Retreat on Holloway Road, where Jo's basically built a massive piece of terrain on the wall, and I'm going to be showing some footage as we go along during the interview. I kind of came in for a couple of days to help Jo out because it was such a big piece that it's taken. How long did it take you to build this one?
Look, I thought it would take longer, but it took in total 13 full work days.
So to put that into perspective, normally building a piece of terrain, you're not having a full work day at it. You might be working at it a couple of hours in the evening or something like that.
Yeah.
But this was flat out, this was your job for like 3 weeks straight.
This was, yeah, 10 till 5 every day for 3 weeks, yeah.
That's pretty much the ideal job, really.
It was fantastic, yeah. The only hard thing about it was going home at the end of the day, and I'm in the middle of building a little swamp diorama with my son. And I got home at the end of the day, and it was the last thing in the world that I wanted to do, go and build more terrain.
Okay, so I did get my hands a little bit dirty. Jo's got a lot more painting to do. So by the end of that painting session, we managed to get about 2/3 of it base coated. I left Jo there to finish it all by himself. By the time I got home, he'd finished it up. I had a look on Instagram. I've been watching his Instagram for the last couple of days, and he's made a lot of progress, and it's looking really, really cool. Okay, so it's Friday morning, couple of days. Last time I was here, it was all black, or nearly all black, and Jo carried on. Let's see where we're at. Morning, Jo.
Morning, how are we?
We're doing good, and as you can see, all the colouring and dry brushing is in. Some flocking down. What's your goal for today, man?
The goal for today is to get the final waterfalls in. So we've got one there, one there, one there, and then a few little ones. And then once all of that is in, I would like to get a start on all of the little wooden platforms and bridges and things that are going to be around. So all the micro carpentry begins.
I'm here to stain some coffee stir sticks, a highly skilled activity that only I can do.
You know what? It is 100% necessary. So
let's get it done.
The only thing that I will say about this, just for the people that are sitting there thinking, hey, I wonder what silicon that is. This is not silicon. I hate silicon with a passion. This is construction polymer.
What do you want to do now?
I want to get a drink.
Let's get a beer!
So I am taking a little breather, have a few pints, get back to work.
One thing that we've spoken about quite a few times, basically your primary concern when it comes to building terrain is the playability of the terrain. Like that's playability above everything else. Like so, tell me a little bit about that.
Basically, I just wanted to be able to play well. So if it doesn't look realistic, I couldn't care less. If aspects of it look real, cool. It's a nice bonus. But as long as I can get a miniature and put it on the terrain and it stands there, then that's my job done. I've got islands that are floating. It's like, I just blame it on the wizards. It's a fantasy game in our imagination. It's like, let's just go with it. If it plays well, that's all that matters.
So this terrain, the cool thing about it is, firstly, it's in my city, so I'm going to get to play on it at some point. Yeah. But it's going to be available to play to the public.
That's correct.
Very, very soon. So they're going to be taking bookings here at Geek Retreat, where you can come book the room and you can play on this awesome massive terrain. And I'm going to give a link to Geek Retreat in the description below this video. So this is Charlie. He owns Geek Retreat in Holloway. So he's now the proud owner of this monstrosity provided by Terrain Jesus. We're going to go upstairs now and have a little chat and have a look at the terrain upstairs. I've probably already been showing you some shots, so let's go and have a look upstairs. Okay guys, so we're upstairs now and we're going to take a look at some of the more detailed parts of this build. And first of all, I want to talk about this cool little tree right here.
Yeah.
These are made from
pipe cleaners.
Pipe cleaners.
It's the same method as like your standard wire tree, but the difference is once you've made the tree, then you just take a blowtorch to it, burn off all the little fuzzy stuff, and it just makes everything malleable and come together and gives this awesome little texture. And then I cover them in timber stain, because when you bend paint after it's dried, it cracks. Timber stain doesn't. So this has sort of like a latexy sort of coat on the outside. They're nice and flexible. You can bash and bump them. And,
so you can reshape these branches if you wanted to. Like
yeah, if I wanted this one to come out this way, I'll just bend it this way. Now it's going this way.
And I should have probably mentioned this first though. Let's talk about the waterfall. And yeah, so you've got a really cool technique of making these waterfalls, which is basically using construction adhesive.
Yeah, it's a polymer adhesive. If anyone's familiar with Luke's videos from Geek Gaming Scenics, it's a very similar product. It's a different brand. It's just, well, basically, I will use whatever brand I find at the hardware store, whichever's cheapest at the time, as long as it's a polymer adhesive. It dries super clear, it's acrylic, so you can paint it if you need. It doesn't smell, and it's super, super strong. This is going to be one of the strongest aspects on the entire thing.
Also, one of the cool aspects which make it look like you kind of know what you're doing are all of these little platforms and stuff. It kind of makes you look like you might be a carpenter.
I am indeed. I've been a carpenter for 17 years.
So, and these are basically coffee stir sticks and...
Yeah, coffee stir sticks, kebab skewers. Some of these little ones here are the bamboo sticks that you write plant names on and you stick it into the ground for your gardening. Basically, any cheap wood that I can find. I don't like to use, like, I don't have anything against using foam to make it look like wood, but just based on being a carpenter, if I can use wood for wood and colour it with wood stain, that just makes sense to me. And it just becomes a little bit more durable, you know, so you can take a massive miniature, like miniature. You can take a massive miniature like that Grave Titan and just stick them up there, and now it's going to be fine. And you can put an entire party up there and it's going to be totally fine.
The one thing I love about these wooden platforms and stuff, especially in the Underdark section, is it kind of reminds me of the Goblin Lair in The Hobbit with all of those wooden platforms. And yeah, so
that is one thing that I will be building eventually. I've got a plan for it. I've had a plan for it for years. I haven't actually gotten around to getting to it yet. But the whole Goblin Cave with all their walkways and pathways and lifts and everything, it's in the works.
So then we're going to have to talk about the light strip across the top, which is really, really cool. So basically you've just got some cotton wool, and then you've got a strip of LED lights up there, and you're going to be able to control the atmosphere of the game.
Fun fact, it's not actually cotton wool.
Oh, it's pillow stuffing.
This is pillow stuffing, yes, it's polyester. It's polyester wool.
And I mean, there's lots of cool little details in here, like the river at the bottom. All of the little mushrooms, which are like little hot glue mushrooms.
Yeah.
And then, personally, my favorite little detail is the little pulley system platform that raises up, which actually turns and goes all the way up. So basically, this is an extremely cool build. And in terms of playability, well, I mean, basically your imagination is all that can limit you really for a game on this table. And one last detail is this little cave. So over here in this room you've also got tables, so that basically if you have players who want to go and explore the cave, then you transfer the game over onto the table where you will have like a piece of cave terrain, as if they've gone inside a terrain, which I think is extremely cool. So basically you can take your adventure to the table by going into the cave.
Exactly, but then again it's up to whoever's running it, you know, so that cave could potentially be a magic portal that leads you up onto one of the floating islands. It could take you down into the Underdark somewhere, you know, behind the waterfall to come out. It could literally come out everywhere, which is why I love fantasy, and why I love people that say, oh, but that wouldn't be realistic, because then you just get to blame it on the wizards and magic.
This is all about fantasy. It's not supposed to be realism. It's about coming in and letting players use their imagination on something that's awesome fun to play on. We're going to wrap the video up here. If you guys want to play on this piece of terrain, get in touch with Geek Retreat in Holloway Road. There's going to be links for that in the description below the video. Go and check out Encounter Prince, Encounter Terrain on Instagram. I'm also going to link his YouTube. And yeah, hopefully guys, I'll see you next time in the next video. All the best. Bye. Before I go guys, I just want to say a massive thanks to Joe for having me over and letting me help out with his precious terrain. Also a massive thank you to everyone on the screen right now for supporting my channel. I love you guys to bits. And if anyone else wants to join, there's plenty of room on Patreon, so come on over. Thanks guys, bye.